I do. I am sure. This thing always asks me whether or not I want to start my stream, and yes, I do. I want to start my stream. What's up, everybody? It's Ron Raphael. Let's get in the mode, in the mood for a minute. This is what I'm working with right now, man. This is what I'm on. Listen. This is where you find me, man. You know how I do it. Music is life. This is what I'm vibing to at the moment. If the question is, what is Ron bumping to on a Friday afternoon? Don't worry, it's gonna pick up in a minute. Big setup here. You know how I do it, man. Let's clean it up. Let's clean it up just a little bit. That looks a little bit better. How I look, guys? Am I okay? Dust off my Yankee cap. Oh, y'all didn't know I was, yeah. So that's what's under the cap, yo. Oh, man, this song is cool. My goodness, what a week it has been. I hope it has been a wonderful week for you as well, man. I mean, how else will I know if I don't ask? How was your week? And hopefully it was a good one. If there were some trials and tribulations, hopefully you got through them. But that's what life is all about, right? Oh, man. That's a cool jam. What's up, everybody? It's Ron Raphael. Okay, let's put this one to bed. What's up, everybody? It's Ron Raphael coming to you once again from one of my favorite places in the entire world, Inglewood, California, my blog. Welcome to the Legacy of Learning, where we add something to our bag every day, or we attempt to, or at least that's the goal every week for the rest of our lives until it becomes part of our legacy. Welcome to the Legacy of Learning. Today, man, as the thumbnail says, this is Challenge Week. And I don't mean for you, I literally mean for me. And I hope that's how it was intended. But if it inspires you, anything I'm doing to take on a challenge amongst the many that you have already on your plate, by all means, because there's no growth without pushing on the boundaries. And pushing boundaries, by and large, does not feel good at all. It's quite an uncomfortable endeavor most of the times when you push on a boundary, something that's set, designed not to move, that's comfortable, that's sedimentary, that's not ready to move. So let's move these boundaries, and with these boundaries being moved, we grow. There are many analogies for this. So keeping in the vein of the Legacy of Learning and adding something to your bag and every day and every week and so forth, what I try to do is make it easy for us, right? So if we learn, as they say, a word a day. Have you ever heard that? There are apps, dictionary apps, that will send you a word a day. And then you read the word a day and you feel a little bit smarter. So why not cheat? The cheat in this case is me reading this novel called Black AF History. I'm still on it, man. I'm doing a bunch of other stuff, and here and there I'll get a chapter in. But my reference for the word of the day is becoming straight out of the pages of this thing, and this guy has been getting on my nerves just a little bit. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten the theme of why you're here. It is to hear about the challenge week, the week I took this week. And day one, I'll talk about today with you on improving myself. It is a challenge called the Make More Offers Challenge, a sales challenge. One of my many, as I said before, that I've taken on this year. And each year I add a special challenge. This was one of them, though it was short. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's grow, let's learn. Let's learn in a really cheat code type of way. And then we'll move on to the experiences of the challenge. And hopefully you'll learn something, as I did, even if it's just a brief snippet. And that will add another thing to your day. And we'll continue on being smart folks and walking around like we have the world at our commands. Now, what words do we have at our command? we've talked of words like, where's my reference sheet here? I have it in my little book here. And, oh no, I thought I was ready for you guys. But the word of the week was sagacious. That's the word we were working with, the previous word. And it is to have keen and cunning insight, sagacious, keen mental discernment. Let me be more specific. But there's another word, and I'll share with you a story out of this book. And it's crazy, man, how many charlatans run around all the time, man. This guy's exposing all of the charlatans. And one of the main charlatans in the beginning of the history of America were charlatans that were involved in false delivery of bringing back something from the new world, or being able to bring back to the king or the queen, dare I mention the monarchy at all, but it's part of the history of this country. But what I found out is that the naming of this country came from the word, it was named by a charlatan cosmographer. A charlatan cosmographer. Let's call it that. So yes, charlatan cosmographer. And I said, whoa, another word, right? So that's why I'm mad at this guy while I'm reading. At least 2 words on a page that I have to look up, but it's giving me a wealth of words, and it is expanding my vocabulary. So the word of this week was sagacious, but the word of today is cosmography. What is cosmography, right? If someone has said to you, I'm a cosmographer, or they mentioned the word, or they used it in a sentence, unrelated to something that you could, associate with, would you know the word? I know I did not. So I looked it up as an astute student of literature, as I'm reading as I should, and I found the word, and I thought it would be because the references to this charlatan. Let me tell you the story first. America was named after a charlatan cosmographer. Cosmography is the science that details with the general features of the universe, including the earth. The branches of cosmography include astronomy, geography, and geology. I learned something today, man. I did not know that. May not be exciting to you, but it's something exciting to me. It actually is frustrating to do the opposite. Reading along in a page, and I don't know how people do this. And this is something you learn way back in the beginning of your scholastic journey, is that if a word troubles you, if you don't know the word, look it up. And that's one of the joys of learning and reading, actually, and learning through that process. You not only pick up concepts, you pick up an extended vocabulary. And so, begin to read, if anything, it doesn't matter. A brief segment a day, a newsletter, it doesn't, but read just a little bit every day, if you can, if your system or your stilo, how you do things, allows for it. So, that is a cosmographer. Cosmography is the study of the features of the universe, and they include astronomy, geography, and geology. So geology. So now, this is the particular information that I wanted to share with you as far as knowledge we're learning. Segue into what we're going to be talking about today, which is my challenge. This is part of my challenge every month, by the way, to read a book every month. Along with you, stack them up, keep going, but I'm going to trudge through it as much as I can. This is the second book, though I'm in March. So I'm slightly behind, but I have another book for instructive purposes for learning coding I'm doing, so that's included in there. But for your purposes, I'm on the second book of the year. And so here it is, man. So it's this guy basically lies to the monarchy and says, I know what I'm doing. Let me get some boats and take some men out, and I'll come back with gold. This guy was lying. And it wasn't until by the time the expedition returned to Portugal, the banker's ruse was up. He was a banker. The crew of the boat, the ship that he was on, realized that he didn't know anything about navigating. So this guy was taking them all over the place, and they had to take over. I'm surprised they didn't throw his ass off the ship, but maybe because he was protected by the queen. So anyway, this guy, a charlatan, was given money by the monarchy of Portugal, his queen at the time, to go and find gold in what you would know now, what he called later the New World, what we now know as America. America, his name. Now let's read the chapter that talks about him. 3 decades later, after he lied about everything he did, including stealing, plagiarizing all of the information from 2 or 3 sources, including Christopher Columbus, who himself was not a great cosmographer, but he still knew how to sail. He stole his information as well, along with a letter that basically was an endorsement of his skills and acumen from the monarchy. It was all a lie. This guy was a complete quack. You know, doctors who would leave a scalpel in you, or just would completely botch up an operation, or just aren't just terrible doctors. They would call them quacks. This guy was a quack of cosmographers. So 3 decades later, after he lied and published a book and put his name on it, which he contributed nothing to, an atlas, if you will, an informational book about the world, including maps. And he stole all that information, put a letter in there to make it his, and 3 decades later, he was named, 3 decades later, named North or South. 3 decades later, the influential map would name North and South continents after the charlatan Amerigo Vespucci. So this guy, Amerigo Vespucci, 3 decades later, after he lied about it, they go ahead and said, you know what, maybe we should name America after the guy who found it, one of our most esteemed cosmographers, the quack Amerigo Vespucci. That's who we owe the name of America to, which is fitting. Why is it fitting? Because it's a country that was populated, immigrated by crooks and thieves from the beginning, and a country that was built on deception and lies. So hey, it lives true to the legacy of this country. Using the word legacy once again. So a little bit about that. So the word cosmographer, hopefully it sticks with the story. Now, dude, this week was great, man, and I do want to share just a little bit before I get into the particulars. I will not ask you to do something, which is to enlist into a program that will help elevate either yourself or the people around you that have academic pursuits, so that they can become the intellectual or the expert or get to their calling in life by taking my course called The Legacy of Learning. I cannot ask you to do that without challenging myself. I couldn't sleep right for you to invest in yourself through me, and for me not to do exactly the same thing by example. So I've done that this year once again. I've enrolled into a 5-day course challenge with a millionaire guru cat on packaging offers and making more offers to increase your bottom line, whichever that might be. Most of us, it is money, but for me, it's secondary. I know it may sound altruistic, but it's true. Yeah, I'm gonna take and want the benefits from this project, but it didn't start with that. What it is for, what I'm trying to do is move the book. And so I took this class with this gentleman and paid X amount of dollars, and I will list the information at some point at the end of, you know, this stream, so you can then go and look up or look into the courses that are associated with this gentleman. But he has been an inspiration, and it is a course that I would recommend. Let's get this out of the way. The name of the gentleman is Myron Golden. Found him on YouTube a few months ago, and I was going through a transition in a number of ways, and it came at the right time for me, a spiritual message. But the more I listened, the more I realized that he wasn't just talking about spirituality, he was also talking about the other pillars of success in life that we also should have including monetary gains. And who else better to have the ability to invest and move money than those that are spiritually sound and grounded, and that those that have put in the work for it and that will then multiply it and help those around them. So it is a spiritual or however you want to look at it, biblical approach. And if you look at progress and contributing to the world in that manner, and I think it's very much true. I would rather give someone who's productive more so they can produce more for the body of at large of everyone else. And that to me is a biblical principle. Don't be afraid to be successful. So it's a bunch of these psychological triggers that we've been implanted with that is addressed in the process of dealing with this gentleman through his spiritual processes and his view on money and spirituality. So that what has come together for me in this program. However, it is not a fake, defunct, churchy moment of, overly exasperating. It's just what it simply is, church, expressions. It is not that. It is specific teachings and references by the principles of the Bible that teach you success. And to me, that was a good place to find, because my spirituality is something I've been working on. And as a man, obviously, we're constantly and always working on, after we've done everything else we're supposed to do and we haven't skipped the line, we're always working on our educational pursuits. And once we've locked that down, our wealth. So these two things are extremely important. And the reason also I like it is because we shouldn't just concentrate on wealth without spirituality. And to me, the two bookends are what we're talking about. And the references I'm making is to this. The bookends. Number 1, spirituality. Number 10, wealth. So if you use them as bookends, everything in between has to be covered as well. And in this order, I will constantly refer to this. We are in a society where this is flipped upside down, and if we don't fix it. So anyway, back to the course and back to what's going on. So that's the type of conversation I'm having with you about that, and investing in yourself and the legacy of learning and so forth. So that's what's going on with this gentleman here. Now, the specifics of the course. Now, I could sit down and try to, and re-teach a course that I'm not taught to teach. And if I go too detailed, that's exactly what you're going to get. But suffice to say, if you already have something going, if you're starting from scratch, listen to Myron Golden on YouTube until you come up with something that you know is a sound money-making endeavor of something that you have invested in, something you know. At that point, he becomes extremely valuable. Know yourself and know where you want to go, and ultimately, what's your calling. If you're not absolutely sure just yet, or you need to do just a little bit of soul searching, go to legacyoflearningcube.com, legacylearningcube.com, and check out what I have there, which is my book. But anyway, that's the first part of what I would offer, is to get yourself together to get ready for that economic, financial journey. And that's what he is. Are you ready to get on the financial, economic journey with your luggage of skills, things that you've built from fortitude to spirituality to everything else? The people behind you, your family, the work you've put in, the education you've afforded yourself. Now you've put all this stuff into an endeavor. Are you ready to make it jump? And that's what his class is all about, and his challenge is all about. And specifically, it was to fashion, print, ideas, things to catch a viewer in some sort of media situation, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, an ad, to bring them in and then pull them into your message and then show them how that what you have for them, if indeed that they are in this market, will benefit them and serve them beyond the money they have in their pocket. They're looking to spend it, but on what, why, and once that is fulfilled, you end up, according to his philosophies, with a client, a customer, and a place to then make more offers. So first day, let's go to it. I actually have a syllabus, man. Sent out a good course because each and every day sent you a preempted syllabus of what the course was going to be about for the day. And I broke it all down. But prior to that, so let me sum it up like this. I'm going to give you the end. So if you want to leave after this, man, you could jump on, if you got to catch a plane or something, and an Uber is waiting outside, I'll let you rock and roll. I'm actually kidding, but I'm going to give you the end and the beginning. The most valuable parts of this course was the first hour in which you paid. There were 3 tiers. The general admission tier and a VIP tier, and then ultimately, I guess, a platinum tier, if you will. On the general admission tier, you got 1 hour and then the challenge, and also interaction with your group of over 500 people across the world that was in this challenge. So the 3 most valuable things, was the first hour of the VIP question session, which business people got to ask their specific question about their business that they wanted him to answer that would affect the bottom line immediately. And they were asking away. And all of these answers, whether it was your answer, your question, or not, benefited the entire 500 group of people that were there. It was almost, why did I listen to this idea? Because now I didn't want to do this, but now I heard this new It was so much positive information coming from the first hour VIP question session. 1. The second benefit was at the end of every session was a challenge under which you were prompted to interact with all of the group members, 500 of them all over the world, with the assignment you were given. Assignments like write a new copy or print for your offer. We're talking about offers. So everything was fashioned and focused on designing and creating your offer so people would respond. You have something that's the greatest thing in the world. They don't know it. They're not really buying your product just yet. They need to respond to the first thing, which is your offer. They're buying your offer. They need to click on something or be attracted to the headline of something that triggers an emotive response in them to then want to take an additional step. In a nutshell, is what we learned this week. The second hour was the general admission hour, under which the syllabus that I have here was used for the hour's discussion. So let me give you an example of the type of information. And this information, by the way, is contained in one of his books. I believe it is a outline that he used for this challenge, in addition to the work and discussions and impromptu VIP questions that he was answering. The book was the template, but it went far and beyond the book, but it was basically the outline. So the first day we discussed offer, science, and lead generation. So the science of it. And I have a training program myself that I had to use many times in the past as a sales agent in the insurance industry that revolved around this type of thinking. Anyone who is in sales understand the psychology, is what I call it, of sales, which is you have to understand people. If you don't care to understand or to know about people, get out of business, go work for someone else. Because you're a salesperson and you have people to sell to people, and you got to learn the science behind, is what he called it here, or the psychology of dealing and selling to people. So this is some of the stuff I already knew. So somewhat redundant. So I'm not completely like blown out the water as some of the other participants. Most of them were, as they expressed their, their testimonials, and they expressed their, their happiness with the program. I'm not as elated as they were, because one, I already was, elated from his YouTube channel posts, which I got into completely and listened to every morning. So I try to find something spiritual to listen to every morning. Nothing better than a spiritual message combined with a economic business message. It made sense to me, so it propelled me at a time where, in the morning especially, and at the time, the beginning of the year, where I needed a spiritual moment, and he fulfilled it. So my levels of elation were already going and have been going for some time. And by the time I got to his class, this challenge, mind you, I was already on a 30,000 cruise level, maybe 30,000 feet in the air. My jet was up there just cruising at maybe 200 some odd miles an hour, elated, floating, and basically at equilibrium. So that's where I am now. So I'm not all high but I'm high because I've never come back down, and I'm good with that. I'm comfortable being here. This is where I'm supposed to be. So I'm not elated. I'm back to equilibrium. So anyway, thought I'd share that concept with you. There's nothing wrong with a story and a concept here and there. So here we go. Back to the first day. So the offer science and the lead generation offer was given. And then we talked about offer strategies, lead conversion offers, offer scripts, and the customer ascension offer. We also talked about offer systemization and retention, customer retention. And we also talked about putting offers together, stacking offers up. So lest I bore you with this basic information, which may or may not be anything to you, it was a phenomenal course. If you have any entrepreneurial desires in you, and if you at any point in your life desire to have your own business or grow something with someone else and take on a key role in a business, in starting a business, then this is the type of information you will invariably find extremely valuable. So yes, was it a great course? Yes. How would I compare what happened with him today with what I think I offer in my humble offering, The Legacy of Learning, my novel? I would say that it compares pretty well. Many of the concepts regarding learning are repeated and reiterated in both of our programs. So I think we're on the right path. His beard is a little gray, mine is a lot gray too. So it should tell you that along with acquired knowledge and working our butts off, I know I have throughout my life, I have to give myself a little bit of, a leg up on those that have not. There's something about having lived long and acquiring knowledge and the wisdom that comes along with it. Wisdom happens over time. And I can see that wisdom being reflected in the information. We have learned the similar wisdom type of stuff. And it's nice to see that what I've learned is being reinforced. And I'm hearing new information and new threads of ways of doing things to apply to my already existing processes for my business and as well for the book that I'm trying to disseminate are reflected here. So it's a great thing. Find this challenge, man. Let it not be that the end of what we do here that you regret not challenging yourself. By the way of challenge, do we find growth And by growth, I mean learning. Let learning be your legacy. So, man, I had a great time chatting with you guys. I hope this brought you some sort of value for today. And there will be a link connected with this challenge. It's an affiliate link. So if you go there and you decide to take any of his courses or classes, I'll get paid from it. And as soon as I can ramp up, he's not cheap, I'm going to tell you right away. But this initial challenge was very affordable. It was $97. Let's get to the real, for 5 days, 1 hour a day each, and courses and and interaction with 500 people that you would get to have and keep connections with. So if you're smart, you've made business connections. So and then for the VIP session, so you have something real, it was $300. And for the platinum session, under which you can ask questions, that was $500. So that's what it was. Invest in yourself. Take your last penny, your last dime, your last nickel, and don't buy something or pay a bill or, do something that builds you up. Pay you first. Invest in you. Legacy of Learning. Don't forget to visit. Get your GPA cheat sheet. Man, do it. All right, I'll holler at you. LegacyLearningQ.com. Ron Raphael, Inglewood. Peace, love, here, Greece.